That's
Yeah.
right.
But there's more to you. That I mean, I feel like there's studies that you've done. You go very deep in studying things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so maybe you could tell us a little bit about that because I don't have your resume in front of us. I just know how I love you and I know how talented you are.
Thank you. Such an honor. Yay. We definitely
Yeah.
fell in love. That East
Yeah.
Coast, humor and energy. And it's just the no BS, get straight to the point while still being extraordinarily loving, right? And that
Yes.
it's not mutually exclusive, which
No.
has a lot to do with it, especially in couples and relationships. It's complex and complicated.
It
And I
really
mean,
is.
if anyone ever said to you, hey, do you want to buy stocks or shares that's a 50% chance of being really successful, you'll get your money back, but a 50% chance of failure, you just lose your money. Like most people probably wouldn't invest in those stocks.
Mm-mm.
And yet we have this fantasy that, getting into a long-term committed relationship, there's this fantasy that it's going to resolve and solve all of our parts of us that are missing, that are upset, that we struggle with, that there's this fantasy of living happily ever after without any effort.
Yeah, or with not even knowing how, with no lessons on how to keep it together.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, most people wouldn't invest in that. But yet you're right. Like they're addicted to the Cinderella fantasy or Walt
Right.
Disney fantasy or whatever, someday my
Mm-hmm.
prince will come.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a sad part of it because the idea of getting into a relationship really does look like a fantasy. And how often do we actually get to go through a program or maybe even like a class? Here's how to be in relationship, but not just relationship. Here's how to be in relationship with me. Like if
That's right.
it seems like maybe
That's
we
right.
should have a class on how to do that. It's crazy.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so, when I work with couples, they're professionals, they run, 6 to 7 figure companies and manage teams, and they're extraordinarily successful in their life, and they're intelligent people. And the most intelligent, successful people get into a relationship and act like complete children.
You say that.
I say how to be the person.
Yeah.
There's a couple things I say about it. One is how to be the person that you said you were in your dating profile. That's number one, like how to
Yes.
be all that.
Your Match.com profile.
Yeah, and then or whatever the new one that thing is. People are swiping Tinder,
Tinder.
and then what to do when you become that teenager, like you have temper tantrums. It's like
Yeah.
I call it relational arrested development.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you're on the spectrum.
That's exactly right. So I tell every single couple that I work with, every single human being on this planet, 7+ billion of us, we're all on the spectrum. We all have a bag of crazy and we've got skeletons in the closet. You're never going to meet someone else who doesn't have a bag of crazy somewhere. I mean, and if you do find them, never let them go. Right? I mean, it's rare.
Do they have your brand of crazy? Is that what you're saying?
We're on the spectrum, and so when couples are at that brink of like, it's too good to leave but it's too bad to stay in, and it's like, do we make up or break up? It's like, if you have the fantasy that you're going to find someone else who doesn't have their own set of crazy, you're in for quite the ride. You'll probably have a honeymoon phase anywhere from 2 months to maybe 2 years. When the new relationship energy wears off, you have oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, adrenaline. You have all of it running through your nervous system, and eventually it wears off, and it gets real.